Is there anything good about religion? That is would you admit that there is an admixture of both good and evil, or is the spirit of religion only one of evil? And I wonder if you might address this within the context of 20th century totalitarianism, especially.
Absolutely, and thank you. Well, the spirit of simple credulity, for example, the humble faith, the person who puts his faith in God and tries to arrange his life and that of his family according to precept, is not evil at all. But simple credulity can be evil for this reason. Someone who can see that there are millions of credulous people around will soon take advantage of the fact and will soon find a way to do so. So the struggle between people who think like me and our rivals, our enemies, is the struggle to raise the culture to the level where people are immune to appeals made by the cynical to the credulous. And I'll instance that further in replying to the rest of your question. If you take the case of the communist revolution in Russia, until 1917, for centuries, the majority of impoverished, enclaved Russians had been taught that their Tsar was not just an absolutist monarch, he certainly was that. He owned everything and everybody in the country, but that he was also the head of the Russian Orthodox Church and something a little more than human in his authority. If you were Joseph Stalin, inheriting a vast reservoir of credulity and backwardness like that, and having been trained as he was in a Russian Orthodox seminary, he could have been a great bishop if he concentrated a bit harder. You would be nuts not to exploit an opportunity of that kind. I mean, there you are. You have a ready-made, Christian-provided mob of people who want a czar and want a god. Well, that's easily supplied. No country's ever fallen into despotism and misery because it followed the teachings of Spinoza and Thomas Jefferson and Albert Einstein. You see what I mean? I can go on about this if you want. The Christians are feeling a bit on the defensive now, and the religious in general, and they keep bringing this up as if to say, okay, we're not that great, but at least we're not fascists and Nazis. Well, I would want to say a bit more for myself than that, I've got to say. And as a secularist, I don't have to make that dissociation. And okay, if you can be an atheist and say that means there's no law. You can be a nihilist and be an atheist, just as you can be a nihilist and be a Muslim or a Christian, or a sadist, or a casuist. There's no guarantee. But we think that morality is innate in human beings, and religion borrows it from us. And I think I could prove it by reference to the Jewish and Christian testaments. Who here believes that until they got to the foot of Mount Sinai, the Jewish people thought that murder, theft, and perjury were okay? That they got that far, were amazed to be told that's not cool anymore. The answer is obvious. They couldn't have got that far. There couldn't have been a human society that thought otherwise. Voila. When the story is told of the man from Samaria, sometimes called the Good Samaritan, who we may or may not think of as an Orthodox Jew, we're not sure. The story is told of someone who goes out of his way to help a fellow creature in distress. Well, quite obviously this person is not animated by the teachings of Jesus, or Jesus couldn't have known the story about him, any more than he could have known the golden rule. Do not unto others what you would not wish to have done unto you, which comes from, well, the Analects of Confucius, at least as early as that, and also the teachings of Rabbi Hillel. In fact, you could say is innate, is a rule that you don't have to teach to children. But if you want someone to do something really nasty, you better get them to believe in supernatural authority. I return to my point. Things that no morally decent average person would consider doing can have a divine warrant. The gentleman who opened the bidding is a member of a church which calls its head the prophet. That's what the Mormons call the head of their church. The prophet can tell you to do anything, and it doesn't matter whether it breaks the law or not. It's a commandment. You have to do it.